in my hotel room in Indianapolis, Indiana. Here a little early for the Indy Pro tomorrow. Going to be a great show. But I want to talk about something. That's why I come here, these little confessionals. I've been debating this issue for a while. Those of you who competed in the past and have been away from it for a while, at some point you think about coming back. And I've thought about coming back pretty much every day since my last contest in July 2013, which was almost 9 years ago. Wow. And been really weighing it in my head, like, why would I compete again? Of course, I love competing. I did it for 24 years, from 1989 to 2013. I did 30 plus contests. Hey, what's up, Arthur? And so when I'm weighing out the pros and cons of should I compete again, obviously my health is a major thing to be concerned with. I'm 52, God willing, be 53 in September. And contest prep cycles, for those of you who don't know, the drugs that you need to take to look your best on a contest stage are far more elaborate, more toxic, harsh than what you might use for an off-season bulking. Off-season bulking, you can get by with some tests, some DECA, maybe throw a little D-ball in there, or Anadrol, feeling crazy. Some people will use Tren, but it's usually only 2 or 3 compounds, nothing crazy at all, because you're eating so much. You're not doing a ton of cardio. You're just trying to grow. Whereas contest prep, now you're trying to hold on to all that muscle while getting rid of all the fat. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. Natural bodybuilders lose a lot of muscle when they diet down to contest condition. And even most chemically enhanced bodybuilders will lose some muscle mass, size, and fullness getting ready. Large doses are used because you want to keep all your muscle mass and because you want that hard, crazy, freaky, grainy look. That's just not possible without certain compounds. You're using Primabol and Masteron, a lot of things that you probably wouldn't be using in a bulking cycle. Anyway, my health is one thing, but let's put that aside because I've talked about that before, and we've done that to death. But I was talking, doing a Raw line, it hasn't come out yet, with David Pulcinella, who was an excellent national level competitor. He won the super heavyweight masters title at the North American Championships 3 years in a row. He was top 5 at the North American, at the USA several times. So he's very, very good. Big dude. And, he hasn't competed since, I think it's been even longer than me. I want to say it was I wish I could remember. I think it was like 2007, something like that. He was also in those Raising the Bar DVDs. Yeah, DVDs. People used to buy those. Great series. His brother, Mike Pulcinella, who's done all the video work for MHP and Muscle Meds for years and years now, did tons of stuff with Kai Green, Victor Martinez, Akim Williams, and others while they were with those companies. Anyway, I asked David Pulcinella, would you compete again? You think about it? And he said, nope, absolutely not. And I was stunned that he answered that quickly in the negative. And I said, well, why? Why would I know you loved it like I loved it. Why wouldn't you compete again? He said, because I know I wouldn't be as good as I used to be. I've got nerve damage. I've had injuries. My physique wouldn't look as good. And I never want to be that guy who people are sitting in the audience saying, oh, this guy used to be really good. Oh man, I remember he used to look way better than this. And I've seen those guys, and I'm often the one to point out to whoever I'm sitting next to and talking to, man, I remember him years ago. His legs were bigger. His waist was smaller. His physique was just better in general. It's very rare for someone to get into their middle age, someone who competed in their 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s. It's very rare for them to be able to hold that exact physique, all the size, the proportions, everything. Usually what happens, and I've saw it happen with myself, the midsection does get bigger. In my case, it wasn't growth hormone. I did use insulin for a whole winter. So it was about a 3-month span. This was back in I want to say it was winter 2015 into 2016. I was using it every workout, pre and post workout. That's when I used it. I didn't use it any other times a day, but I was doing like 20 units. Jamaican tank. What's up, Patty? I missed what you said before that, but oh yeah, well Phil looks phenomenal. Phil looks phenomenal, but I believe Phil got into competing a little later. I'm not sure. There are exceptions. I mean, Dexter Jackson looked phenomenal. You didn't see his physique going downhill when he retired at 51. It wasn't exactly as great as he was in his prime, but it wasn't far off at all. No one was looking at him and saying, "Oh, Dexter needs to hang it up. Oh, this is embarrassing." But a lot of us, if we got up there, the way our physiques are now, it would be embarrassing. He's a rare exception, Patty. Yeah, we're talking about Phil Clayhar, the top IFBB pro, the Jamaican tank. He's 48, 49 now. Looks fantastic. He looked his best ever last year at age 48. Is that what he is? But that's the exception. Pozdrav from Slovenia. Ex-Yugoslavia. Yeah, there are always exceptions. There are always exceptions, guys. Anytime I do these things, he's 47, he was 47. Anytime I'm making these things, we're talking in generalizations. 48 in June. Oh, happy birthday. It's next month. But generally speaking, most people will accumulate injuries. You see a lot of middle-aged guys with their legs way smaller, and that's very common. And it's finally starting to happen to me. And in my case, it's injury. My right knee. My right knee it's hurting all the time now. People saying, well, get some PRP injections. I mean, if I don't train heavy, it doesn't hurt. And why am I going to go spend thousands and thousands of dollars? And, I might have to travel out of the country to get that done. For what? So I can train legs heavy again and have big legs? For what? I mean, my legs are never going to be small, but I am finally starting to see them come down a little bit. And it's because of my right knee. And most of it wasn't even done from training. I hate to blame my dog. I love my dog, Branch, but I walk him twice a day, every day. That's like one of my household chore responsibilities. Can make my pecs. You always ask me to make my pecs bounce. No, it's terrible. I'm not your monkey, man. No, Ron, no. Yeah, don't compete. I'm losing my train of thought. But yeah, slipping and falling on the ice. Well, the problem is I slipped, but I didn't fall. And every time I'd slip, I'd catch all my weight on my right leg. So my right knee was just getting hammered. It'd be throbbing. And then I'd have to try to train legs with that. And anyway, so that's one thing. My midsection has gotten bigger. I know it has. Sometimes I run through the poses. Come out of a shower, put my underwear on, get in front of the full-length mirror and go through the poses. And I could see some shots I still look really good. I mean, compared to how I used to. I would be just as good, I think, in like my side chest would still look really good. My most muscular. My back shots would still look good. But my front double bicep, the waist it's wider, it's thicker. It was never my best shot anyway. My side tricep, I don't know if I can even hit that shot. I've been trying. I can't reach my arm. My left shoulder needs to be replaced. Can't hit that. And the worst shot of all, front lat spread. Look, see that shoulder? I guess if I really practiced every day, I could get that to rotate over again. But it doesn't rotate over like this one because I don't have that external rotation range of motion anymore in this side. But the one shot that I know is horrible for me now is my ab and thigh. It's embarrassing. I can't even hit that shot. It's okay, Patty. I had a great. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's my plan is do a little bit extra this summer because I want to get in good shape. I want to get into very, very close, if not contest condition, and just do a couple photo shoots, get some pictures, say, this was the last time I looked, quote unquote, like that. And that's not a stage. That's not hitting every pose. It's a controlled environment, in the gym or maybe outdoors, some places, whatever. Amazing Things MD, Kai Green. Thank you. Yeah, that Kai Green thing was fun. But, I could have some great pictures to look back at. And, that at that point, it'll be time to downsize. Palumbo, Aceto, Milos at Ruby Classics tech lineup. One last ride. Yeah, the last ride would just be to get in shape, and I wouldn't go crazy with the PEDs because I'm not up there with, 10,000 other guys trying to turn pro. It would just be me and some pictures, just for my own personal satisfaction. Look back and say, I got into really good shape with the size one last time, and I wouldn't go crazy with the doses and stuff, but one last time at age 52, almost 53, because I think toward the end of the summer is when I would really want to, quote unquote, peak. I hate to use that word because I wouldn't be competing. But it's peaking in terms of condition and all that. Yeah, and then it would be time to go to TRT. It would be time to really just go what I've been avoiding for a long time now. And, downsize for me, downsize is all relative, a 300 pound guy downsizing to 240, that's a significant thing for me to go from. I walk around all the time now at 220, pretty lean, pretty lean. Is Jose Raymond done competing? 100%. He's all done, 100%. He's a great coach. He coaches athletes. He's a personal trainer, very high level trainer, works with a lot of people at Gym Hub Boston and other locations. But Jose's all done competing. Yeah, he's all done. Yeah, and I would have to. I don't know how much smaller I would get because I'm not that big anyway. Thank you, Arnold. Appreciate that. But it has to happen because I keep thinking about this, the health and longevity thing. And even though I've been very lucky so far, luck doesn't hold up forever. See, Florida Redcon Gym. Oh, Elias, yeah, that Redcon Gym is great. It's not huge. Great equipment. It's lit like a nightclub. It's dark in there, but by the mirrors, they have like the lighting, overhead lighting. So every picture, if you want to take a selfie in there by the mirrors, you look awesome, especially if you're any kind of lean. That Redcon Gym, great selfies. Yeah, for those, I know that's so ridiculous, but they have great equipment. Panada, a lot of equipment from Italy there that you're not going to see in many other places in the United States. The only other place I've seen that much Panada equipment was the other Redcon Gym, the bigger one they opened up last year in Nashville. But yeah, great gym. From the video, you're guys still in the 1%. Most guys work their whole life, never obtain a physique like yours. You want to oil me up? That's another thing. You get into this thinking women are going to be all over you. No, dudes are the ones who like big, buff, muscle guys. It's not women. Women would much rather be with a tall, athletically built guy. A guy who's like 6'2", 200, with a bunch of tattoos and a bad boy attitude. That's gold. All jacked up and looking like you're juiced out of your skull. There certainly are women that are into that, but not that many, guys. Not that many. Not that many. So I'm doing this on my phone. I don't have my computer, so I can't see the elaborate question. What year was your best? Post that again. I missed it. Question. Say you don't go against coach. My coach thinks driving New York Pro from Ohio would set me back for a show. Gotta go shopping. Oh, best to you, Patty, and say hi to your coach said that driving to the New York Pro would set you back. It would if you don't have all your meals with you and prepared, which is a lot of work. Actually, Ohio and New York, it's not that. What's that, like an 8-hour drive? But you would have to have all your meals with you for the whole weekend. If you can do that, just take all your food with you and everything, you'd be fine. It wouldn't set you back one bit. Yeah, I mean, traveling only doesn't bother you. It's the meals. What year was your best? How old were you then? I don't know. I mean, I like the way I looked at the 2002 New England, which if you go on my Instagram, Ron Harris Muscle, that's where I had the blonde highlights. That was a good year for me. I think the last 2 years I did Team Universe, 2011 and 2013, I was pretty good then. 2011 was probably my best. 2011 Team Universe, I was 41. I think I turned 42 a week or two later. Was that late in the year? I was 41, almost 42. But I was 208 at that show. The glutes were not totally in, but from the front I was shredded, really full. I was fifth out of 2011 was that year? No. 2011 I took second in the open heavyweights. Out of, I think there was 11 of us, but I was 208. I was really shredded from the front. From the back, my glutes needed to be harder. But 2013, similar thing happened. I had Team Universe. I took fifth in the Masters in 2013 at 204. And then was it a week or 2 weeks later? I'm starting to forget all this stuff. I got down to the shredded glutes, and no, I started competing when I was 19. So no, but I was natural for years, and I didn't really I didn't start looking the way I wanted to look until I was competing on gear, and that was, by then I was already in my 30s. Thoughts on the calendar? Which compound exercise did you perform on a regular basis? The only ones I never did the flat. I'm gonna miss a bunch of questions, guys, so I'm sorry. Don't post any right now. The compound exercises, I always liked squats, loved squats, did many heavy squats for many years. I used to love the military press. Didn't like the bench press. I liked the incline barbell. I didn't like the flat barbell. I used the dumbbells for flat. I used the dumbbells for incline quite a bit. Deadlifts, I was never very good at deadlifts, but I did rack deadlifts for a long time, from just below the kneecap to above. I used to go up to like 7 plates on those each side. Full deadlifts, I sucked. I just didn't have the right, I don't know, leverage. Dips, I used to love weighted dips, weighted chin-ups. What else is a compound exercise? Barbell rows. I used to love barbell rows. I can't do those anymore. My lower back's all jacked up. I mean, that's another thing is I injure myself like every 1 or 2 months. They're like not major injuries, but like minor tears. And sometimes I have no idea what happened, how I did it. Like I had this weird thing in my ankle a few weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago. My left ankle. It felt like I tore some muscles in there, and I have no idea how. I was thinking maybe it was on that the inversion thing, the gravity. What do you call it? The thing where you hang upside down, the inversion table. Yeah, you clamp your legs in, you hang upside down. I don't know if that was what did it, but man, I mean, I couldn't walk on that leg. I was like putting all my weight on my right leg for a good about 2 weeks. Derek LMO. Is that, yeah, the guy that wants me to bounce my pecs all the time? Come on, dude. I'm 52 years old. This isn't an OnlyFans webcam thing. Come on. Oh, man. But yeah, I used to, that's why, when people ask me, what do you do now? It's really not relevant because when I was younger and making all my gains and making progress, I was training very differently, because I could still do the barbell rows. I could still do those rack deadlifts, could still squat. Oh, I was so good. I loved squats for so many years. I loved squats. Loved them. That was my favorite thing. Leg day was like, I don't even look forward to leg day anymore, especially now that my knee's bothering me. It's like a bummer. I can still do everything for hamstrings, although I can't do like barbell Romanian deadlifts. I have to use dumbbells, or I put Phil Clayhart showed it the other day, or a cable, from the low pulley like that, or I use a T-bar row platform to do them. But yeah, like lately my knee's been just, ouch, it hurts. It hurts right now. Did you hear that click? Listen. I made a loud click. Anyway, yeah. So, I think that goes for anybody. When you ask like an advanced bodybuilder, someone who's been training for many, many years, like, what do you do for arms? What do you do for this or that? Don't ask them, what do you do? Because oftentimes what they're doing now, it's just either for maintenance, or they're trying to refine a muscle, or they're working around injuries, or it's not what they were doing typically when they were building their base, when they were making all those gains. So if you see somebody with great legs, ask them how they built the legs, not what they do from. Do I have a nightly routine, supplements help sleep? Yeah, actually, it's pretty easy. It's 2 sleep gummies from Redcon One. I take those with my last meal. They're gummies. They're delicious. And about 30 minutes later, I used to use their Fade Out product. I used that for a long time, and that was a good product. I don't know if they changed the formula because it doesn't make me as sleepy as it used to. And maybe that's just because my body got acclimated to it. I don't know. But it used to, the original formula must have been different. There was something in it that, I don't know what it was, but I would drink it, and then 10 minutes later, for a good minute or two, I would have trouble breathing. Like, I'd feel short of breath and I'd be like, oh God. But then like 10, 20 minutes after that, I'd start getting super sleepy. I do use DECA. Guys, using DECA, all these things for your joints, if your joints are like destroyed, like mine are from arthritis, it doesn't even matter. There's no joint support. There's no DECA. I guess you could try like PRPs, these really expensive treatments, with the blood platelets and all that. But yeah, I mean, once those joints are really trash, like they need to be replaced, they need to be replaced. There's no drug you can take. There's no supplement you can take that's going to bring them back to what they were. And this is, we're talking about years of training, years. I've been training steadily since September of 1983. So we're almost talking 39 years. So let's round it off to almost 40 years if you want to round it off. That's a long time. And granted, the first 4 years I was only doing bench presses, curls. I wasn't doing much. I didn't know too many exercises. So I didn't do legs until I was 18. I didn't start training legs until I was 18. But still, it's a long time, a lot of wear and tear on the joints. Any of you guys, if you're young, I say hit those compound exercises now, because there will come a day when you're going to have to start relying more on machines, cables, things like that, special machines. But until that day comes, try to take advantage of the fact that your joints are still fresh and healthy, strong. Your connective tissues would be more accurate. The tendons, the ligaments, because joints are just bone. They're joints, intersections of joints. So if you're able to do all those compound movements, the barbell rows, the squats, the deadlifts, bench presses, the military presses, dips, chin-ups wouldn't really be a compound, but you know what I'm saying. All the basics. If you can do the basics, do the basics. There are certain things you should still use machines for. Obviously, like seated leg curls, lying leg curls, leg extensions. The lat pull downs are great. Obviously, there's a lot of good back machines, but if you can do all those good free weight movements safely, and you still have healthy joints, healthy connective tissues, no injuries, man, work those hard for as long as you can, because those are always going to be the most effective. Machines work, of course they work, but they don't work as well because they're easier to use. And when I say easier to use, I'm not saying, putting a ton of plates on a machine and pushing or pulling it is easy. No, it's not. But you don't have to balance it. It's an extra level of difficulty when you have to keep the weight balanced. You need extra level of coordination, and the muscles have to work harder. Everything has to work harder. Any of you guys can. An easy example is dumbbells are harder to press than a barbell. Harder in the sense because you have to keep them both balanced. So if you can bench press 315, and a lot of you can, I'm sure a lot of you can do 315 for 10 reps. Yeah, I was at the Boston Pro Show. I live near Boston. Those of you who can bench press 315 for 10, very few of you can do 150s, the 300. So let's 350. Yeah, 150s would just be 300 total. Very few of you would be able to do 150s for 10. Hope they have another. Oh, I think the Boston Pro is going to happen again for sure. It was very well run. Great production values. They put the guy David. He put a ton of money into that show, and everybody walked away happy. I thought it was a great production. We had William Bonac, Urs Kalaczynski, Lola Montez. We had a lot of great champs. Come on, you're in Brockton? Oh, well, I'm in Stoughton. Yeah, Brockton, the city of champions. It's where Marvin Hagler was from. Rocky Marciano, the great Mike Quinn, great bodybuilder. Ted Lopes, never Mr. Universe. Used to work at the Sheridan. Okay. Who went Tampa? I don't know who's in Tampa. That's months away. I look much better with a pump. Yeah. You can't keep a pump when you're not pumped. I mean, steroids help you look fuller. They help the muscles have a fuller look to them. So people on steroids always look a little more pumped than someone with the same amount of size who's not on steroids, if that makes any sense. It's really just a blood volume thing, because the steroids, they increase your blood volume, which for your health, that's not a good thing. You don't want to have way too many red blood cells. That's why a lot of steroid users will donate blood every few weeks, phlebotomize or whatever, just get rid of, because they have too much blood. And if you have too many red blood cells, the blood gets thicker. It gets like ketchup. And you don't want that. You want it flowing freely through all the blood vessels of your body. You don't want it getting stuck and gummed up. Yeah, Boston Pro Show will happen again. I'm pretty confident about that. And I think having it a week after. Oh, who's going to win? Indy, yeah, Tampa. Harry Balls, best name. I love your name, Harry. Harry Balls. Tampa, I'm sorry, the Indy Pro. So Justin Rodriguez is the heavy favorite. He was 5th at the Arnold. He won the show last year. He was 2nd in Boston Pro to Bonac. He's damn good. Charles Griffin from Minneapolis, looking phenomenal. He could push him. Blessing Awodibu. I'm saying his name right, guys. I kept messing it. I was saying Awodibu. It's Awodibo. How do you stick with a diet long term? You make it a lifestyle. You just don't keep any junk food around. Get on a meal schedule. I eat the same foods every day. I'll do a video about it eventually, I promise. But I eat the same meals every day at the same times, and that's the easiest way to do it. I know not everyone can do that, but if you have your schedule, your work schedule down, your training schedule down, you can say, okay, meal 1 is at 7, meal 2 is at 10, then I train. You can do it that way every day. Real Natural Basic Jose, go Clark Kent mode. Yeah, just let you know you answer some of the questions about sensitivity to testosterone. I missed that. See, the questions fade away before I can even finish reading them. Damn it. Copy and paste it again, dude, please. Yeah, I wish I could see the side, but this is just my phone I'm using. So I don't see the live chat. I see they pop up on the screen and then they fade away like immediately. What if you have a high metabolism? How to avoid temptation? Don't have the junk food around. Don't buy it. Don't have it at home. What was the question about the metabolism? What if you have a high metabolism? I forget what preceded that. Can you put that again? Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I was eating not a ton of junk, but I was getting, my wife gets these My Cookie Dealer cookies, and we had junk around the house pretty much all winter long, and I was still limiting myself. Will you be in Venice for Elite Priest induction hall? No, I don't plan on going to California for anything in the near future. No, I wouldn't go out first for an athlete induction, even if it is Lee. The only time I really travel is for contest coverage. So like next weekend I'll be in New York, or actually New Jersey, for the New York Pro. And then after that, Chicago Pro, Tampa Pro, maybe Texas Pro, maybe Legion Sports. TRT seems to age men. No, it doesn't. What do you mean? No, if anything, guys on TRT will seem a little bit younger. If you mean steroids, not TRT, guys, this is my pet peeve lately, is people are using the word TRT, or they're using that to describe being on a steroid cycle. Trying to make a routine with high intensity lifting and jiu-jitsu, can't gain anything. Yeah, jiu-jitsu burns a lot of calories, that's why. Do I need anti-estrogens on TRT? No. If you have symptoms that your high estrogen is causing, like my estrogen it's sky high. It's like 200 or something. It's really high, but I don't have any symptoms at all. I was about to get on an aromatase inhibitor probably about a year ago at this point, maybe even longer. And Dr. Thomas O'Connor, the anabolic doc, he said, no. He said, what are your symptoms? I said, oh, well, I don't have any symptoms. He said, then why would you do that? Because they all crash your good cholesterol, the HDL. So I didn't even do it. Some people do that, like me with high estrogen, yeah. You had insomnia with every other day injections? Yeah. I mean, I go every fourth day. That seems to be ideal for me. Some people go every other day. You see men in their 30s completely bald and age face. Okay, that's from heavy steroid cycles, not TRT. So I'm not going to answer questions for you because I got to clear this up. This is very important. People they're saying TRT now. Yeah, thank you. They're saying TRT when they mean steroids and that someone's on a cycle. Oh, hey, Gregory. Yeah, I'll talk about once. Let me make a note of that. Please make a note of it. Yeah, so TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. Typically, it's done through an actual doctor, and you're prescribed a dose of like 100 to 200 milligrams is the average, 100 to 200 milligrams of testosterone a week, usually injectable. Some people do the gel or pellets or whatever, but injectable is by far the most popular form of administration. And it is to bring your testosterone levels up to just normal levels. This is for people that either were born hypogonadal, they never produced enough testosterone, or they crashed their bodies, they destroyed their body's ability to produce testosterone. That's what I did through abuse of steroids over a period of years. So in that case, the doctor will prescribe it, and it's just enough, and they confirm this with blood work a few times until they find the right dose for you, to get you into the high normal range. So a normal range is like typically 3 to 800, 3 to 900, something like that. On a cycle, your testosterone levels can be in the thousands. Like mine, the last time I had blood work done, and I'm on 200 milligrams of cypionate every fourth day. So that comes out to less than 400 a week, right? Yeah. 200, 400? It's like 350 a week, I guess, right? And still, I was adding things on. I had DECA on there too, and Proviron. But anyway, so my test was like almost 2,000, the total test. And my free test was pretty high too. But TRT and steroid cycles are two very, very different things. TRT is actually good for you because if you're deficient in testosterone, you need it. You'll have low energy, you'll have erectile dysfunction, you'll have very little muscle mass, you'll gain more body fat. I'm missing all these questions, guys. I'm sorry because I don't have my computer. I'm doing this on the phone. So they flash for a second and then they're gone. I try to answer them, but then Anyway, so guys, TRT and steroid cycles are two very different things. Steroid cycles will negatively affect your health and make you look a lot older in most cases than you are. I do see 30-year-old guys that look like they're 45, 50. But TRT, no. TRT is a good thing if you need it. Get your doctor to prescribe it or find another doctor or an anti-aging clinic or something because you need it. You need to have, as a man, you need to have normal testosterone levels to look and feel your best. That was a piece of plastic. At 36, should I start checking my testosterone? Ian, well, how do you feel? If you still have a high sex drive, you have a good amount of muscle mass, strong, you have energy. If you still feel really good, manly, you can get it tested. You should get it tested just for the hell of it every time you get your, your annual physical. And if it's low, don't hesitate to look into getting TRT. But if it's normal or even high, no, don't bother. And some people, 36, a lot of guys still have really good high testosterone levels into their late 30s. It's not uncommon. I've even heard guys in their late 40s. Some guys even tell me in their 50s they're not on any steroids or TRT or anything, and they still have, very high normal testosterone levels as evidenced by their blood work. I guess I'll comment on the Derek Lunsford thing. Yeah, Derek is huge. I think he 260. My guess was 250, but I keep hearing 260. Doesn't matter. It's only 10 pounds. Yeah, he looked phenomenal. He was huge, but the Olympia's in December, and I love Derek. I think he's a great champion. I love him as a person. I just think people are going goo-goo over the way the athletes look in May, when most of these guys aren't competing until December. So if they're taking it very easy with the PEDs now, and I'm not saying that Derek isn't, but just as a general statement here, if an athlete, an Olympian, let's say he's running just TRT or a very lower dose now, letting his body recover, because they're not going to start their real Olympia prep until like August, September, October, November, September. I can call it sleeping. Yeah, well, getting enough sleep is important because, it's important for all the bodily functions. If you're missing sleep, your body's going to pump out way too much cortisol, the stress hormone, which is catabolic. You'll be gaining fat. You won't be able to lose fat. You'll have a very hard time gaining muscle if you're not getting enough sleep. That's why we say it's 3 sides to the pyramid: training, nutrition, and sleep. Because if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. If you're not eating, you're not recovering. And you're not going to grow. How often you bump up your test dosage throughout the year? Honestly, like when it gets warm, when it gets hot, I will go, I haven't even bumped it up because I don't want to do more shots. I'm just lazy. I don't like doing injections. I have so much scar tissue in my glutes and my delts from years and years. It's hard to put the stuff in there at this point. Some of you can relate, and some of you are like, what are you talking about? But every time you stick a needle into a muscle, every single time, a little bit of scar tissue forms in where that needle went, So over years and years and years, you'll get all these hard nodules. I can feel one right there. Can't really feel it, but I can see it sometimes. You'll get all these big lumps of scar tissue that are just, if you stick the needle in there into a lump of scar tissue and push, it won't go in, because that scar tissue is like a freaking rock. Are you using insulin pins? Yeah. Oh, for my gear? No. I don't use, because I'm pushing in like 2 cc's, and insulin, no, I use 5/8, 3 ml, 5/8, 25 gauge. B2, 62 of the 6-pack. Someone just said, I missed the rest of it, but yeah. There are always guys, like I said, you're going to hear from some guys that are older that still look phenomenal, never took a steroid. There's always exceptions to the rule, and some people have great genetics. They age better. Some of them started training later. But when I talk about a lot of these things, it's generally speaking. Like if I say, let's say I say Chinese men are shorter than men from Africa in general. And you say, what? There's a guy in China who's 7'6". I saw him in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I say, okay, that's 1 out of a billion men in China. The average height for a Chinese male is probably like 5'5" or 5'6" or something. So when I say they're shorter than, and let's say, forget Africa, let's say something I actually know the height. In the Netherlands, the average male height in the Netherlands is almost 6'2". That's average. That's just average. If you're shorter than like 6'1.5" or something, you're below average height in the Netherlands. Yeah. Appreciate you. Blessing come across the channel. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Clash with Plizoski. Yeah. I've been playing up my Ukrainian quarter lately, but truth be told, grandmother came from Ukraine and grandfather was from a place in Poland called Lodz. Where do you shoot test more often, delts or glutes? Equal. I try to rotate left, right. Honestly, though, I do my glutes a lot more than I do my delts, because My wife doesn't like to help me out with these things. She really doesn't. She's not on board. My wife would be thrilled for me to go down to legit TRT. She just wants me alive and healthy. She loves me. She doesn't care if I'm big, small, ripped, fat. You know, it's not important to her. Believe me, she's not impressed by the muscles. You know, maybe years and years ago she was to an extent. We've been together for 30. What year are we in now? Since December of 1989, we've been together. So, you know, she met me when I was 160 pounds or something back then. So she's seen everything. She's seen me natural. She's seen me juiced out of my skull, bulked up and fat, shredded, over dieted and string. She's seen me in every possible physical incarnation you might be able to imagine. But she just would be very happy if I stopped using any extraneous gear and just went to legitimate TRT under the supervision of a doctor, preferably. But if not, you know, I have an offer from Frontline Alternative, and I need to take them up on that. They're a TRT clinic. Ronnie Coleman just signed with them, and Andre Miller. We've been in touch. So after this summer, I'm going to go legit. Surprised you kids didn't follow in your footsteps. Well, Johnny, my son trains. My son's 22, Christian. I train with. He just got back from college a couple days ago. So when he's home, actually he's all done from that campus, UMass. He lifts. He does not have the genetics for size or strength that I did, because by the time I was his age, I was 230 and fat. I was natural, but I was bulked up. Is bodybuilding expensive? Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Bodybuilding's very expensive, very expensive. Just the food alone. You're eating 2 or 3 times more than the average person. You're eating 5 or 6 times a day. BB ladder. You know, you're eating a lot of meat. Meat's expensive, especially here in the U.S. Food prices are going up. So chicken breasts, they're not cheap. If you're eating like steak, chicken breast, turkey breast, eggs were cheap. Now they're getting more. Everything's getting more expensive. Everything, all the food is getting crazy expensive now. So the food is a major expense because you're eating 5 or 6 meals a day, where the average person eats 2 or 3, and the average person, you know, their breakfast might be like a bagel and a coffee or a donut and coffee or something. Is HGH worth taking small pounds? Yeah, HGH keeps you leaner. You do have to take it on an empty stomach with no carbs in your system, but it keeps you leaner. That's the thing I noticed it did for me. It didn't build any extra muscle in my experience. And I never went over like 4 units a day. But even at then, I didn't see the only things I saw were being leaner for sure. First whey protein ever you bought? Can't remember. It would have been like, how long's whey protein been out? It's like 2000? I don't even remember, honestly. Can you imagine what Orville Burke, better condition, would have done in today's bodybuilding? Yeah, Orville was very good. Orville's a guy most of you younger guys have never heard of, and he wasn't on the pro scene very long at all. He won the Night of Champions, I think it was. He was 80s. No, I don't think whey protein was out in the 80s. No, it wasn't. I want to say maybe like late 90s. Whey protein, mid 90s. Yeah, it wasn't. It's old, but it's not as old as like. It's probably around the same time as creatine, probably around 95 or so. 90 was already BCAAs. I don't remember them back then. They might have been around. I don't remember them. I'm trying to remember there was a brand name. See any difference now using intra-workout carbs? That's a good question, Danny. Where I rank Gustavo Bodell as Latino bodybuilder of all time. Gustavo, I'll get back to him. Best Latino. The intra-workout carbs, that's a good question, because about 5 weeks ago, on the suggestion of Milos Sarshev, I started using EAAs, glutamine, and a carb powder. So I've been using Grunt from Redcon, their glutamine, and their cluster bomb during my workouts. I don't get stomach upset with it like I did from different intra products I tried years ago. I honestly can't say I've made any more gains. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm at 220, like on the dot. My weight will be like 220 point something. It's been very consistent past few weeks, but you know, I don't know if I've gotten any bigger. I don't know. I think all these things I think would be more valuable to someone who is still in that formative stage, the earlier stages of their bodybuilding career and their training career. I'm so advanced. And advanced, I don't mean like I'm at this high level. I mean, I've been doing it so long. My body, my post-workout meal or drink. All right, I'll answer that. And if any other questions come up during that, I'll have to miss them. So post-workout, I get 2 scoops of whey protein isolate. I use Isotope by Redcon. I use two scoops of Cluster Bomb, and I have a handful of gummy bears. And there's no glutamine. The only reason I don't use creatine is because it's like I haven't been able to get it for free lately from Redcon. Their creatine that's out of stock. Creatine, there's a shortage on so many things now because of the supply chain problems that are COVID, basically. The pandemic caused all those. So that's the post-workout shake, is the whey protein, the fast carbs from it's cyclic dextrin is in the Cluster Bomb, and the glutamine. I should have creatine, but I don't have any right now. And the gummy bears is just more simple sugars. So it's 50 grams of protein from the whey protein, and it's about 75 grams total from the carbohydrates. Now, about an hour to an hour and a half later, it's usually more like an hour and a half. Yeah, I get that shake down at like 11:30, and then at 1 o'clock I have same thing every day, chicken and rice. It's not chicken breast. I've been doing chicken thighs, which don't have that much more fat in them. They're way cheaper. To me, they taste better because they're moist. They have more moisture in them. They're fattier. Gustavo beat Dexter, finished third in the Olympia. I remember, yeah. He wasn't natural. Yeah, but the top Latino bodybuilder of all time on the record would be Mr. Olympia Sergio Oliva. 3 Olympias. Yeah, 3 Olympias. One of them, nobody even showed up to compete against him. That's how afraid of him they were back then. Sergio Oliva showed up at the Olympia in '68, I think it was, and nobody else would compete against him. They're like, nope. So they literally just gave him the trophy. He did his posing routine. They gave him the trophy and the check. Back then, it was probably like $500, really, and that was that. Yeah. So that post-workout meal is probably, again, about 50 grams of protein from the chicken thighs. Usually, I have I make a big crock pot full of that and like teriyaki marinade or something, and then I do like a cooked rice, about a cup and a half white rice. Just mix it all up, and that's post-workout meal. You want a million old school bodybuilding lifestyle? I've been doing this a long time, Danny. Yeah. So I think chicken and rice is probably the ideal post-workout meal. Gained 30 pounds on Bill Phillips' first grape flavor creatine and tore my pec, Alberto Montejo. That was Phosphagen HP. I remember that was delicious. It came in these little foil packs. I think that was the first commercially available creatine, was Phosphagen HP by EAS, which was heavily promoted in his Muscle Media 2000 magazine at the time, which I was fortunate enough to write for. I knew Bill a little bit. And it only came in the grape flavor, I think. So you better like grape. I can even remember, it was 1995. I can remember because that's the last year I competed in natural shows. Since bodybuilding is expensive, how do you manage to keep your lifestyle going? Well, I ate much more modestly. I would a lot of canned tuna when I was younger, when I didn't have a lot of money, a lot of eggs, hard-boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs and tuna were real cheap back then. Rice has always been cheap. Potatoes, I used to eat a lot of potatoes. Potatoes were cheap back then. A lot of baked potatoes, a lot of rice, chicken, beef I would have to get on sale. In my 20s, I didn't make much money at all. Undulus, Weider's Mega Mass Weight Gain with Creatine, 1998. Am I doing high carb right now? I don't really ever do high carb anymore. I can't eat that many. ES was sold, I think so. Yeah, I can't get away with eating as many carbs as I used to. My metabolism is not as fast as it used to be. Are orals like D-ball stronger than equipoise cycle? No, it's, they're all steroids they're all equally strong. Well, Tren might be a little stronger, but I honestly feel if you can inject stuff, you're better off, just because it's not going through the liver and the kidneys and all that, your stomach. You're avoiding a lot of damage internally. And I even if you're going to use orals, Dr. Tuliados has said, put them under your tongue and let them dissolve, and that's going to save you a lot of internal damage. Use cybergenics in the 90s. I actually did. Like I said, I've been with my wife since late 89, and in 90, I think just a few months after we started dating, she bought me the 30-day kit or the 40-day. There were 2 kits. Okay, so I think one was like a 60-day kit. ECA stack was the bomb. I think I had the 60-day kit from Cybergenics, and it had all these different pills, and it came with a workout, and the workout was the best part of it. If you just followed the workout, you were going to make gains anyway. ECA stack, pre-workout. Oh yeah, dude. I used to go, and let me finish the ECA. Let me make a note of that. Pre-workout. I got to make notes here, guys, or else I'll lose everything. So I use the Cybergenics. Cybergenics. Google it, guys, if you don't. Those of you who have no idea. That was like the biggest scam supplement. It came in these kits. They were super expensive because. So let's say this was 1990. The original Xandrine Twin Labs got sold. Ripped Fuel, yeah. These kits, the 60-day kit, which is just a bunch of pills, and I think some shit came in a little eyedropper that you put under your tongue. It was like $200 back then. That's in 1990 dollars. So here we are 32 years later. I don't know, what's that, like $500 it would have cost? And it was garbage. It was just complete garbage. It was like all these weird supplements that nobody uses any, they've long since fallen by the wayside because people figured out they were crap and they didn't work. But the placebo effect was real. I did make some really good gains. I think it was the workout was really good. And just the fact that I thought these things were like steroids because I was natural back then, of course. This is 1990. I was only 20, turned 21 later in the year. But man, I thought I was on steroids. I was like, yeah, I'm on Cybergenics. It's a good boost for a 50-year-old. Franco Santoriello was the guy in the ads. That's why I wanted to buy it. Barry DeMay was awesome. A good boost for a 58-year-old. I mean, I don't know what you mean boost for energy. There's, pre-workouts for, you might have low T. You want to get that checked. Anyone who's over 50, for sure, if you have any doubts, get your testosterone, your free and your total and your free testosterone checked and your SHBG, of course. If you're deficient in it, go on TRT. There's nothing wrong with that. Women have been going on estrogen therapy once they hit menopause for decades. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just looking and feeling better, like you used to. Ronnie C is awesome. Do you believe he can't remember the PEDs he took? I do, because Ronnie was he was coached. Chad was his coach. I'm sure Chad helped him with the cycles. This is what you should probably take. That's what coaches do. So I don't think Ronnie would necessarily remember. I don't remember like my cycles. Some of them, a couple of them I wrote down. Otherwise, I wouldn't remember what I took. How are you supposed to remember? Especially contest prep. You're talking like 5, 6, 7 different drugs. You're supposed to remember everything you took and the doses and all that. No reason to get fake gear. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I kind of get upset when I see these clickbait titles like Ronnie Coleman's steroid cycle revealed, his exact cycle. And then you watch the video and no, it's not revealed. They're not telling you because Ronnie doesn't remember. And Ronnie has never gone on anywhere in public and said, this is what I took. These are the drugs, these amounts. He's never done that. So all these videos with these clickbait titles are, they're full of shit because you watch the video and you wasted like 10, 20, 30 minutes of your life because he never said what they said he said in the title. I hate that shit. Celtech, because Greg Kovacs, RIP. I knew Greg a little bit. I drove him to one of his contests when he came out. He came out to compete in a show in California in 91, I think. It was like the Tournament Champions. And I was his driver. I was like a little gopher back then for American Sports Network. Good dude. Only 2 people have actually been consistent with saying cycles have been Leveroni and Yates. Never even deviate from what they say. Yeah, Quicks. And it's unfortunate because people call them liars because it's not the mega doses that they want to hear. People want to hear that somebody took 3 grams of test, 2 grams of tren, 2 grams of EQ. They want these mega, 5 anadrol, 10 anadrol a day. That's what they want to hear. I'm cutting, got veins showing up to my chest. The bicep veins. That's a genetic thing. Yeah. Veins and vascularity in general is a very genetic thing. It's how big your veins are and how close they are to your skin. Not everyone's the same. Like I remember Flex Wheeler, you saw very few veins on his body, even when he was super lean. And one of his good friends and rivals, Paul Delt, you could barely see the muscles separation because all the fat squiggly veins everywhere. Dennis Newman, oh man, Brian Lee. Yeah, Dennis Newman was great. Dennis I knew very well. We were the same age. Jay didn't have much vascularity, yeah. Some guys have tons of vascularity, like Branch Warren had a lot. You can think of the guys, Rich Gaspari. Some guys just have so many more veins that they're more prominent and they're close to the skin. It doesn't mean anything. You run into Jean-Claude Van Damme at Gold's? No, I wish. I'd love to meet Jean-Claude. I know Danny Hester, his trainer, pretty well. I've known Danny for many years, but I've never met he trained Jean-Claude. I don't know if he still does. Trained him for many years. I'd love to meet Jean-Claude. Yeah, a big fan of his movies back in the day. Who didn't love like Bloodsport? Well, I'll do another blast jet school. Yeah, I'm going to do one this summer. I mean, I say blast. My health is good. Thank you for asking. When I say blast, it means way more than TRT. I'll do some trend for a few weeks. Then I'll switch to Primo. I just want to get in really good shape with this size for a photo shoot. I'm not going to go over like 1,500 milligrams per week at any point, total gear. I'll still take the GH. The GH doesn't really do anything. It's only two IUs a day. We'll compete in the next committee. No, I'm endless. I'm done competing. I talked about that earlier in the video. I'm all done competing. There's no reason. There's no reason for me to compete anymore. Like I said in the beginning of this, my body's not the same. My waist is thicker. My legs are starting to finally get. It wouldn't be good. I mean, my Rosalind Prime is my idol. Yeah, you're not. If you don't have a bicep vein, do I like high test? Me personally, I feel like crap over it. Blood sport tournament? No, man. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. No, I mean the bicep vein. I mean, show me the dim mass death touch. Was that from Bloodsport? I don't remember that part. But yeah, I mean veins in general. Like some people can be pretty fat and still have veins. You could still see veins. It's the craziest thing. But you could see like they have you can't see their abs. They'll have jelly rolls and stuff, but they'll still have like veins up here, veins on their arms, sometimes veins in their quads. It's a strange thing. So that's why I tell people don't worry about it and don't get too excited about it either. It's cool to look in, when you're getting leaner, to look at your veins, but don't ever think, don't ever judge your condition by your vascularity. That's what I'm trying to say. Because Dan Duchesne, yeah, I knew Dan. I met him a few times. I didn't know him, but a lot of guys they'll start getting leaner and they'll go right up to a mirror. Yeah, blood work. They'll go right up to a mirror and they'll see all these veins. They're like, I'm shredded, but you know what? On stage, Craig Titus said, killer vascular. On stage, you're far away. The judges are like anywhere from 10 to 20 feet away from you. That vein thing only looks good from a few feet away. After that, you need to have deep muscle separations. That's what's really important. That's when you know you're in shape. Deep separations between the muscle groups. Joseph Arablow, what up, Joe? Just the ability to hit poses correctly. Yeah, I can't hit that. I can't hit this lats. Look at that. Look at that shoulder. Ugh. Luke, super vascular. Yeah, I didn't know because you're right. I see these guys get fat and have big bicep. I mean, those getting discouraged. Yeah. What's some good advice for a 20-year-old who's into bodybuilding? That's a whole video, dude. I can't say that in like 2 seconds. Eat a lot of really good food, get a lot of rest, train hard, train heavy, keep the reps between, for upper body, I think 8 to 12 is a great range to stick in most of the time. Lower body, 8 to 20. You ever meet Paul DeMeo? Oh, of course. I knew Paul. We're both from Boston area. I knew Paul pretty well. That's a shame. He could have been so good. Ever try hanging and letting the shoulder go back into place? No, it's gone. Dude, I mean, the shoulder's gone. I have x-rays to show that it's all gone. It was bone on bone for years. It still is, and now it's just all worn away in there. This is like nothing. I can't press a free weight, not even like a 10-pound dumbbell with that arm. For instance, Benfato versus Bob Paris. Who you got? Benfato. Because Benfato got into good shape, and I never saw Bob Paris get that lean, ever. Benfato did, though. Consider total shoulder replacement? Yeah, I've considered it. I actually consulted with an orthopedic surgeon a few years back, and he said, you're an excellent candidate for it, but it's not going to get you back to where you want to be in terms of lifting performance. And that's all I really cared about. He's like, you'll be out of pain, but if you do continue to train the way that you want to train, you're going to wear out the implant, they call it, and we're going to have to take it out at some point 5-10 years from now and replace it again. He said, trust me, it's a lot harder to do that. it's a much more invasive and lengthy procedure to take out a shoulder implant and put another one in than it was to put the first one in there. So I was like, no, I'm good. Jacked. Jack 3 was incredible. Yeah, there were a lot of supplements. A lot of supplements had, drugs in them, and that's why they were outlawed. So that's why they were taken off the market. Reverse shoulder replacement is the way to go. Yeah, thank you, Luke, but no. I mean, it's a manageable amount of pain. I'm not like in constant pain. It'll hurt it'll ache for a couple of days after I train shoulders, but I don't do anything that would really compromise it anymore. So, I mean, I have a hernia. It doesn't hurt me. I need that. Ever tried Tesmorelin? No. Getting lean is not a problem for me. Once I clean up my diet, yeah, add a little more cardio, and I get lean pretty quickly. Getting lean was never an issue for me. Once I figured out, what I was supposed to be eating. Size was a more challenge, of course, but no, getting lean was never an issue with me. Yeah, the best pre-workout in terms of energy that I used to take back in the old days was the old ECA products. Several of them, like Ripped Fuel or Adipokinetics was one of these little red and yellow pills. Yellow Jackets. I used to take those and drink instant coffee on my way to the gym, and man, it was way too much caffeine. I was like, my hands were like trembling, but man, I had all kinds of energy and stamina for those workouts, especially leg days. Yeah, that was good stuff. That was before the pre-work. There were no pre-workouts. I'm talking the 90s. We didn't have pre-workouts yet, so we used the ECA, the fat burners. We used those as a pre-workout, a lot of us, because it did have that stimulant effect. That's what we were looking for. And we all drank coffee. I used to make instant coffee. Well, I had a 9-to-5 job at the television production company, and I would drink that instant coffee on the way to the gym. It was like a 15-minute fasted cardio, but the doc is doing it every day. Yeah, fasted cardio. Some people really enjoy fasted cardio. They prefer to do the cardio on empty stomach because they're lighter. There's nothing in their stomach. They have this mental clarity. I don't care for it. I don't like doing anything physical, any type of physical activity while I'm starving. I just don't. And I'm sure it might be slightly more effective. Lane Norton has really opened my eyes to this because he goes into the studies and the evidence. Fasted cardio versus fed cardio. Very, very little difference in how much body fat you're burning. So in that case, why not just do it fed, in a fed state? Yeah, you're going to burn. People say, well, you burn. This is and I said this for years, so I'm guilty. I repeated this, doing cardio fasted, you tap into the body fat stores right away. You're burning body fat right away instead of stored carbs. But in the end, it's really just calories in versus calories out. I really need to grease you up with baby oil. Baby oil. No, I don't want to be all greasy. Come on now. Well, I see I've been doing this for almost a full hour now, so I think that's plenty. Plenty of Ron for one. 200 mg of Mast E and 100 mg of Tren E every day. 100 mg of Oral Wind daily. Good stack for the final 3 weeks of a cut. Sounds good to me. I mean, it's very similar to what a lot of guys use. A lot of guys will throw, Masteron, Primobolan, Anavar. Definitely in high use by most people toward the end of a prep for sure, along with other drugs. They're on thyroid drugs or on clenbuterol. Usually the growth they'll cut like a week out, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, share, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff. Appreciate you watching. So Ron Harris, out. Peace out, guys.